And sound check real
check.
quick.
1, 2, 3.
I feel all right.
Good.
I'm ready to roll.
Let's do this.
All right, you ready, Burns?
Yep.
All right, let's kick it. Here we go. What's up, everybody? This is Jason over at Minibikin and Eazy. This is a live podcast. If you have something you want to ask, say, a comment, leave it. Go over to Facebook or YouTube. Leave a comment because Bernie's going to be reading those comments to us ever so often. If you have something compelling, he will read it off the screen. So let it be cordial. Let it be appropriate. But send over all your questions. Today, as always, I am joined by Zane, making sure he's keeping us in the lane. I've got Bernie's on the 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Bernie came on.
Oh, we got Bernie Cam, yay!
Yeah.
And all the way from Canada, we have our best bud, Sam Mantini of Mantini Motors!
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I
So,
really am.
where did you wake up this morning?
In Toronto.
Okay, so you are from Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, well, a little bit north of Toronto, but most people won't know if I say Bolton. So, Toronto. Yeah.
What up, Bolton? Michael Bolton. Okay, so why are you here?
So, a couple of things. First and foremost, to be on this podcast.
Yay.
I flew all the way here for this. No, but we have, so we did our first production run of our first product, the MBK1, the Minibike. And one of our customers who ordered a fully built bike is here in Texas. And so I figured, why not ship the bike here and build it in the Go Power Sports shop and then just deliver it? And so that's kind of why I'm here, and yeah.
So a little bit of backstory. If those who don't know Mantini Motors or Sam, he has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you go over there, hit like and subscribe on his stuff, Mantini Motors. But he is unveiling his very first mini bike. So if I was to go back even further, the first time I met you was at 2023 Pool Start Picnic. You and your dad came all the way down from Canada, Toronto, Bolton, down to Fort Worth, Texas to hang out with us. You had a beautiful Bel Air bike. So tell us that journey from you coming to Pool Start Picnic to you now having your first production bike.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's such a long story. How much time do we have?
You have an hour.
We have an hour. Okay, here we go. No, so basically, I'll summarize the backstory. For the longest time, I grew up with my dad, and he has always bought mini bikes. He restores them, and then fixes them, and then flips them. And I'm like, this is really cool. It should be a business. But we really didn't know how to turn it into a business. And then I grew up, started doing video and filmmaking, and it took about a decade of doing that professionally. Actually, probably more like 15 years. And through that process, I learned about business and marketing and sales. And I was like, okay, now I have that foundation. Dad, do you want to build a mini bike business? So I left my job to do that, and that was in November of 2022, and then we found out about the Pool Start Picnic, and I was like, Dad, we need to build something and go, because this is the first event where we can actually showcase what we can do. And we had an idea, we had a couple different ideas, and then it hit me, why don't we build a bike that looks like his 1955 Chevy Bel Air? And so I bought a 3D printer. We put it together. It wasn't finished, but that didn't stop us from showing up. We drove down because I didn't want to ship it there. And we literally brought two more bikes. We had a Honda Z50 Chrome Special from, I think it was 1986.
Super cool.
Which was really cool, but a lot of people are like, that's not really a mini bike. But we wanted to bring it anyways. And then we kind of created like a rat rod bike, which was kind of thrown together last minute, but we wanted to bring as many bikes as we could. But yeah, once we were there, we had a light bulb moment. We realized that my initial idea was, let's build custom bikes for customers. You know, do you want a bike that looks like your car or whatever it is? But seeing the community in person, that's the first time I've ever been to a mini bike event, and the amount of passion that they had for building their bikes, and even though a lot of them use the same frame, they all look different. And something about that got me really excited about building our own frame, because I started asking my dad, I'm like, what would make the best mini bike frame for us based on what we want? Full suspension, you know, adjustable engine plate, stuff like that. And we just basically started talking about it the whole way home. And by the time we got home, I had a drawing on a napkin. I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. I don't have a manufacturing background. I've never actually built a mini bike from scratch. And so I just started reaching out to people to see if they know somebody who can help me. And fast forward, it took about maybe 15, 16 months. And then we had our first prototype, and then we brought it to Pull Start Picnic 2, which was this past year, 2 months ago. And it was complete. And it was a really cool full circle. Well, I guess it took about a year then. It was a full circle of like going to the event, realizing what we want to do, and then coming back with our vision there for people to check out. So, yeah, it was a really cool, really cool.
Nice. I'm super stoked to see that transformation, and that only took a year, which is amazing. That's a huge feat. So, congrats to you and your pops for doing that. Congrats to you, because I know that you nonstop at it. You like you said, you left your job so that you can push this along. And it's stories like that which makes me want to get behind it. And I want to see you succeed. And anything I can do to help you out, I definitely want to do it.
I appreciate that. I mean, you guys have been so helpful with us, helping collaborate on the actual full roller kit. That was huge, because I wanted to build a frame, but we don't have access to all the parts. So I was so excited to be able to do that with you guys.
Nice. So this person bought a bike, I guess one of your prototypes, or one of the first 10 or 15. How many did you sell?
Yeah, so we did a pre-sale back in May. It got delayed due to a couple complications, and we did a pre-sale in May, and that's when he bought it. And then after I talked to him a little bit, because everybody who bought, I like reach out, we talk every day, well, not every day, but pretty often. And then eventually he was like, can you build the whole bike for me? Because although he has the ability to do it, he just doesn't have the time. And I was like, of course we can. And then we started talking about, well, what do you want? What engine? All this stuff. And the next thing you know, we had a huge list of parts, and I messaged you, and luckily you had all of them in stock, and yeah, now we're here.
And just in case anyone is concerned or is from the TSA, the green in our caption for this is the bike itself. The bike is a beautiful shade of green. I'm sure you will see it if you tune into their channel. I don't want anyone coming in here with different expectations.
Wait, what's the title?
Yeah, did we change the title? What's the title say?
I have to go back. I forgot.
We were
smuggling.
You might have just ratted him out.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
What I meant to say was he didn't smuggle anything.
No, I had to. So one of the things is, because Go Power Sports is here in Texas, and the customer's in Texas, shipping all the parts to Canada, paying duty and the shipping and all that stuff, I figured I'd just jump on a plane, put the bike underneath the plane, and then show up and build it here. And so I was so nervous the whole way. Like the last week, I've been like, what if they don't let me put it on the plane? Like all of this is for nothing. I didn't have cancellation for the trip, so I'm like coming with or without the bike. But luckily it got through. And yes, the bike it's a burst of lime. It's actually a really cool color.
It's really nice.
Awesome. It's flat too.
Yeah.
Which makes it cool.
Yeah.
Side note, do you know Gina?
Yeah, it's my mom.
She was trying to get into our Instagram. She wants to join, but you want to shout her out real quick.
Hey, Mom. Thanks for the support over the last little bit. This is something people probably know from watching our YouTube channel, but I literally moved back in with my parents because I just wanted to really, like you said, put everything in all. Like I want to go all in on this, and I truly believe in what we're building. And so, we're building this company from my savings, and so it got to the point where I'm like, we need to do something so I can continue on with the journey. And my parents are very supportive. You guys, if you know our channel, you've seen my dad. He's amazing. And yeah, my mom too. We literally had this mini bike before we sent it off for powder coat on the kitchen table, test fitting, making sure everything works. And she's just filming it and huge support. So thank you, Mom.
Your production crew is amazing.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to buy an MBK1 mini bike, are there any left?
Great question. Yeah, so for the production run, we had a limited number, and we were going to send one to somebody, but it didn't work out. So we actually do have one left from the pre-sale, and if you want it, just send me a DM, because right now if you go to our website, just mantini.co, it's just the wait list for the next sale. But there is one more available, but I'm looking at other people that we might be able to, gift it to certain YouTubers, if there's anybody out there that we feel would be a good fit, which I have a few in mind, which maybe we could talk about.
Mr. Bees.
Mr. Bees.
I'll take it off your hands.
But in all actuality, I would love to get it in somebody's hands who, obviously creating a YouTube video will be amazing, but as we know, sometimes you make a video and then it just sits on the shelf, whereas I would love for somebody to be able to ride it and enjoy it and stuff like that. So we do have one more available, and then we'll be doing a sale when I don't even know a date yet, but we'll figure it out hopefully in the next couple months. But I just want to get everybody who ordered from the pre-sale their bikes before I start another sale.
So DM you through which app?
Instagram, TikTok. Honestly, you can email me, just sam@mantini.co. Like you can easily find me. I'm reachable. But yeah, Instagram, Mantini Motors, TikTok, Mantini Motors, YouTube, Mantini Motors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I told you about this, I mentioned this to you earlier. You're doing a great job keeping in touch with the people who are involved with this, like responding to people. It's really great to see that you're taking the time to be great with the customer service. So
I appreciate that. That's like my number one priority, because I truly believe a great product, you can sell one of them, but if you have great customer service, you could sell a lot of them because people will talk about it. So my whole goal is top customer service and then a product that matches. And to be honest, everybody who orders, I gave them my phone number. I'm like, here, just if you need to call me, text me, whatever it is, like I'm available. I'll talk to people at 11 o'clock at night. I'm laying in bed about to go to sleep. They'll message me. Oh, hey, what's up? And they're just sending me updates on the bikes they're working on. There's a gentleman who, he has a great little collection, and he was showing me, actually it's the Rascal GT.
Okay.
And he just showed me, powder coated it, a blue metallic red, but he has a pretty big engine in it, and he's like, I think I'm going to throw that in my MBK one once I get it, because it's a lot of power. But this guy's amazing. Like, I'll show you some photos of his bike. But yeah. Yeah.
So actually, like that's Bernie was hitting on something that I wanted to get into is what was the design philosophy behind it, but also I know you did a lot of outreach to people during it. I was signed up for your newsletter and through your emails, so I was getting like every time you sent out like, oh hey, like what do people think of this? And I know on your social media you were doing a lot of like, well, what do you guys think of this design versus this design? And I was like, you know what? This is really good because you're actually talking to the consumer. You're talking to the people instead of just like, man, I hope people like this, like, you know?
Yeah, I think I actually did, when I was younger, right out of college, I actually did try to design my own piece of camera equipment. It was like a shoulder rig that turned into a tabletop dolly. It was amazing. I loved it, but that was just when gimbals started coming out. But I'm not going to lie, at the, right out of college, I was 18? 19, and I dropped like 15 grand into investing into the thing that I thought was going to be it, and it was called Mantini, like Mantini Rigs. I love, that was going to be the name of the company. But what I'm getting at is I didn't tell anybody about it while I was designing it, because if I did, somebody probably would have been like, well, they're coming out with gimbals. Why are you going to design that? And I probably could have saved a bit of money and time and energy, right? But the biggest thing for me is I don't know everything. I don't know what people are struggling with. I don't know what they want out of a bike. Yes, I know what I would like, but that doesn't mean anybody else will like it. And so we posted our first post, I believe it was July 18th, 2023, on both TikTok and Instagram, and it was a 3D rendering of what the bike would look like.
Yeah.
It was a video of me, and it like panned, and then it showed, and then it like animated in. And that was it. I just wanted to get a sense of, is this something people want? And then from there, people were like, oh, that's really cool. What about full suspension? But it just kept going and going. And I implemented a lot of these people's ideas because I truly believe the best way to build a product is through community. I think that if I were to just sit in a corner and not pay attention to what people want, then this bike would not be anything like it is. And I don't even know if I'd be done by now. So for me, I truly believe collaboration is the true key to greatness. And I want that. I like having people have their input. And I'm also open to it. I get a ton of negative comments as well as positive comments, more positive, luckily. But in those negative comments, too, there still have some truth to them. And it's whether it's the price or, oh, it's too big or, this or that, whatever it is. It's like, okay, well, there is some truth to it. Let me actually consider it and see, okay, well, what can I do to maybe positively move in the right direction if they're onto something. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take every piece of feedback and implement it if it doesn't make sense, or they might not have the full picture. But even this week that just passed, I even posted in a couple Facebook groups with a video talking about how do we want to make a setup for a torque converter on our frame, because right now it's set up for a clutch and jack shaft. But a lot of people run a torque converter, and so I literally put a video of our 3D program and me spinning the bike around and showing, here's the problem, here's 2 solutions, what do you guys think? And a lot of people commented and had great ideas, so I'm all about collaboration.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So now, what was the design theory behind this bike? Like, because we know full suspension, it's got the adjustable motor plate, it's got it's got a lot of customizable spots on it. It's got a lot of good hard points for stuff. But like, what was the design philosophy?
So the whole concept that I wanted to run with was, can we create a mini bike that is versatile, but every component seems like it belongs and is meant to be there? And so for me, I'm like, I have, again, a Honda Z50 that I grew up on, but I'm now 6 foot tall, or 6.5 feet, and I can't ride it. My knees go into the handlebars, they're too low, and I want to be able to ride it. That's my childhood mini bike that I grew up learning how to ride on, and I can't comfortably. And so for me, I was like, okay, we need to build something that can grow with the person, so height adjustable handlebars. Great. But also, what if they want to start on a smaller engine because they're younger, but then eventually want to go and expand to a much larger engine? And also, my dad pushes that a lot, where he's like, I want more power, and cool, like I'm all for it. And so then we designed the hump in the backbone, which a lot of people are like, why do that? It looks silly, or just make it go straight. It makes no sense. But my dad's like, could we put a 670 in there? And I'm like, I don't see why not. Let's try. And actually, when he told me that, we increased the size of the bike to accommodate it. So you got 19.5 inches of engine-based space, which is really awesome. But yeah, I just wanted something versatile that would allow people to modify, but it all looks like it belongs. I didn't want to have too many various brackets or things that like you could bolt it on if you want. Like I wanted to look like it's a production bike, but it's actually a kit. So
nice.
That was kind of the design philosophy, but I also have to be honest, I did not design that from scratch myself. I hired an amazing designer. He's out in Serbia. He approached me originally saying, hey, I'd love to design something for you guys. And that was literally right after the Polestar picnic, and I was like, yeah, let's see your work. And he gave me a really good foundation, and then through that process, I learned 3D modeling. I never knew how to do it before.
Yeah.
You know, I've never experienced it, so I downloaded Fusion 360. He would give me the file, and then I would tweak it, but I was like, I don't know how to do this. Can you make these changes? And then eventually, after 6 months, I can now go in and make parts if I want, which is really cool. But yeah, he gave us a really good springboard to start off of, and then from there, working with Tom, if you've seen our videos, great human being.
Awesome.
Then him and I, yeah, he's tremendous, and I wish I can just literally leave the camera on him the whole time because he's hilarious.
He needs his own YouTube.
Yeah,
I keep telling him, but he's too busy building mini bikes. Yeah, no. So then him and I, because he has the knowledge when it comes to actually machining and engineering, and then that's where his skill set has come in. And then I kind of bring the aesthetics. I think that's the number one thing that I'm realizing is that I might not know the engineering side. I might not know exactly the best way to design the frame, but overall aesthetics and appeal, I feel like I could see something and, okay, that doesn't feel right. What can we do to fix it? And that's kind of how the MBK1 evolved into what it is now.
Steve Jobs.
So have you ridden your MBK1 with a 670 yet?
So, no, unfortunately not. That's like, it's coming after I get back from this trip because we were waiting on a few parts. We needed a plate to rise it up because you guys, the torque converter we picked up when we were here from the Polestar picnic, it works. We had to cut part of it. It will work. We just had to cut it so that it would fit on the frame. But we're still got to figure out the exhaust. We got to figure out the gas tank. We got to figure out the battery box. There's a lot of components to it, and I wish I can say that I had 5 days a week, every day, just to focus on it. But building a mini bike company requires a lot of time and attention, making sure that the bikes that we have for customers are getting built and delivered. So I wish that I could spend all day on it, but I'm hoping in the next 3 to 4 weeks we'll have it done, painted and ready to ride.
Okay, so the customer that is downstairs, the green bike,
Yes.
you were talking about going with the 301 Predator?
That was a thought, and then you guys mentioned the 212 Tilson, which I was like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was going to be a 301, but no, I think we're going to put the Tilson in there with a torque converter if I can get it to work.
What is the biggest engine you put on that frame?
Well, the 670 fits in there. Like, we actually have it in there, we just haven't run it. But right now, what we brought to the Polestar picnic this year was a 420.
Okay.
But it was pretty much bone stock. We had, a new air filter on it, but ultimately it was pretty much stock. Like, the governor's still in it. It doesn't get that much power just yet. We didn't even tweak the gearing ratio for the jack shaft and the rear sprocket. So we should definitely get a lot more power out of it than we have been. But I think we got it up to like 52 kilometers an hour, which isn't, I know, that fast. But then we realized after that speed test the following day, the throttle wasn't connected 100%, and so it was actually slipping a little bit. And so we haven't done a proper test yet because we took that prototype and kind of took it apart because we needed to make some changes to it. So we will do a proper speed test comparing a 212 versus a 420 and a 670, hopefully in the next couple months.
So the 212 that's down there, do you plan on running a torque converter kit on that one?
If we can. So again, because it's more designed for a jack shaft, if we can move the engine forward enough where the torque converter could have a little chain from it to the actual sprocket on the jack shaft, then we will. Then we'll be great. But if not, then we'll just probably run a clutch for now. And then if the customer does want to move forward with a torque converter, I will give them the adapter for free and then let him just, bolt that on himself, basically.
So you got some R&D work to do.
That's exactly, I know a lot of people want to use torque converters, and so, but I've already designed it. It's just now Tom is focused on fulfilling the 15 bikes, and so I don't want to put something else on his plate until he's done those bikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So I was going to ask, like, in terms of use case for this bike frame, is it as at home on a drag strip as it would be on like a dirt track, or do you think that this would be a better contender for like the GPS 180 than the GPS 660 perhaps?
That's a great question. I don't know if it would be competitive as a drag bike, only because it's a 1-inch frame, and the engine plate's pretty thick and big. Basically, I don't think it's going to be a lot heavier than your traditional mini bike frame, especially against your Rascal GT. Do you know how much that one weighs?
23, 20.
Super light.
Yeah.
It's 23,
ish pounds.
Our frame is probably, with the swing arm, is probably closer to 40.
Okay.
So, you're talking a pretty big
weight,
weight difference. And, I mean, the box that we shipped on the plane, now keep in mind we had a steel frame in the box. There was tons of paper and the box itself, and, that was 69.1 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And that doesn't have the wheels, doesn't have the engine, doesn't have anything. So it is a heavier bike. So to answer your question, I do believe it's going to be more cruising type of style. Just going to take it out, enjoy. We do have a couple of our customers are in their 60s.
Yeah.
And I think for them, they just want to go ahead and cruise. But you could definitely put a big engine in there and, rip around if you want. And in terms of off-road, I think the forks that we have for the front are really durable. They're actually they're aftermarket forks for a Honda Ruckus. So they're designed for a lot of weight. Now, would I jump this off of a massive dirt hill? Probably not. But the rear shock is rated for 2,000 pounds. So if you put the bike plus a rider, you can easily be a 500-pound dude riding this bike around, no problem.
Dope.
It's not going to sag on you. If I were to jump it and want it to be truly off-road, I'd probably have 2 rear shocks, But to be honest, I want to do how do I want to say this? I want to break one. I want to do a YouTube video where we're literally going to push it to the extreme. But I don't know if I want to be the rider. So I got to find somebody who's willing to push it to the max, and we might get hurt. But ultimately, I just want to see what does it take to break the frame so that we know what to tell people not to do. Just go one notch underneath that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, stress testing is important.
Yes.
And but I'm excited to see just how far you can push this thing, man.
Yeah. Well, if I can somehow, if anybody knows Whistling Diesel, if I can send him a bike, he will definitely test it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I mean, we've put a lot of work into making sure it's strong. Again, that's why we wanted to go with 1-inch tubing. We could have went 7/8, but I'm like, no, let's go 1 inch. Tom's welding it's all TIG welding, which some people say it really is not a big difference between TIG and MIG, but I'll let people in the comments debate about that. But it's solid. I would trust it to fall off a 30-foot drop if it needed to. Not with a rider, though. Please don't attempt that.
Do not do that with a
That
rider.
should have been our clickbait title. Which one's better, TIG or MIG?
Change it now.
Well, hey, everyone in the comments, jump in. All you metal workers and fab workers out there, let us know.
Yeah. Is there a difference? I mean, I see a visual difference, but
Why is TIG so much better than MIG?
it is hotter.
That's why.
It's definitely hotter, yeah.
Sexier.
That too.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, both. I do think the welds look nicer when somebody knows what they're doing, but it also is just heat-wise. It gets a lot hotter.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we, on one of our earlier frames, we actually then accidentally welded a hole through it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
Got it.
That was just, it was
Stress
like
testing. That's all it was.
That's all it was. Yeah.
So I'm curious about the Canadian mini bike community. So you came all the way down here and saw how everyone is all about mini bikes down here. Do you have that same kind of community up north?
I wish, honestly. Our population, we have 30 million people across all of Canada, which isn't that big. And when you consider how many people are in, motorsport and off-roading and mini bikes specifically, the few that we have, we're so spread out. And so, unfortunately, it's not that big, but I do have a grand vision of like the next decade or two of what I want to try to implement up in Canada. I want to do like events like you guys do down here. I have this vision of a build and ride event where people can come. Let's say it's limited to 10 people, but we have 10 bikes with everything they need. They learn everything they need to about building. We have an expert welder, maybe it's Tom if he's not retired by then. He comes in showing them here's how to weld certain things on if they want. We put the bikes together over a day or two, and then we go and ride them, whether it's somewhere safe, whether we have the land ourselves or rent the land or rent a track. There's a really good track called Cayuga that has both a circuit and a drag. And so I looked into how much it costs to rent that. And so I want to build the community there for sure. But we're nowhere near what you guys are down here, which is why we're like, I have to go to the Polestar picnic. Dad, we're packing up the car and we're going.
So down
Just
here,
quick reference: there are 30 million people in Texas alone.
Yeah.
So across Canada.
I think my number is right. I think we have like 30 or 32 million total. I could be wrong, but so keep that in mind. You guys have more people in one state than we do in almost our whole country.
I mean, New York City, I think, by most estimates, is somewhere between, I want to say between 10 and 20, depending on depending on the day.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So, like on every corner, you can essentially buy a mini bike from many of the different stores out here. Do you have stores that sell just like Coleman mini bikes or normal household mini bikes?
So you can get those usually from Princess Auto, which is like the Harbor Freight equivalent. I'm pretty sure they're the same company, but one's U.S. and one's Canada. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think Walmart maybe used to sell them in Canadian Tire. Which is kind of like a Walmart for anybody that doesn't know. It's not just a tire place, but there's not that many places for people to buy. I actually one day reached out to you guys. I was like, I want to build Go Power Sports North. Like, can we do it? And then I found out what's involved, and okay, give me a couple of years, and then we'll do it. I'd love to do that.
So what do you think are there any other bottlenecks or anything that would be hampering Canada really jumping into the mini bike phenomenon?
No, I honestly think it's just location. Toronto, there's a bunch of people there, but the city of Toronto, there's not really a place that you can go and ride. We'll most likely get pulled over. I don't know if they would impound bikes, but with the streetcars and the amount of traffic, I just saw this this week where they were like Highway 401, which is a little bit north of Toronto, is the busiest, most traffic highway in all of the world. And we have a smaller population, right?
Wow.
And it's the busiest highway, and I'm like, oh, okay. But with that being said, there's not much room to ride in the city. So a lot of people go more north, Barrie, which is about an hour from Toronto, and that's where you'll find more of the off-roading type stores, where the power sports stores. You will go north and you'll find dirt bikes and stuff, but again, not really mini bikes. It's more Hondas or Yamahas or KTMs or basically dirt bikes.
Okay.
And then there is a little bit of a Honda Ruckus scene, but those are a whole other...
Ruckuses are dope.
That's kind of its own monster.
Yeah. Well, actually, before we started mini bikes years ago, my dad and I actually built a couple Ruckuses because my brother-in-law had one, and then he got another one. We're like, these are cool, let's build it. We did a couple customer bikes, and then I ended up going back into my career filmmaking. But that was like the first glimpse of doing something with my dad, which was kind of cool.
So let's talk a little bit about filmmaking, because it's a definite component of what Mantini Motors is doing. I mean, your YouTube channel is really solid, man.
Thank you.
What got you into filmmaking? What was your filmmaking career like? And how do you want to utilize it moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's a long story, but I got into it because I had this idea. I was like, what do I want to do with my life? And when I watched movies, I realized that you can do multiple different things and not live different lives, but you essentially could be in a new universe whenever you want it to be. And so that idea of making movies is really cool. And I felt that I was a pretty creative person, but I am also very logical. I'm not the most creative. I have a really, I think, good balance. So for me, making movies was an art form, but also a science. And so I really found myself drawn towards it. And so I started it back in high school, borrowing the cameras from school, making these little videos with my friends. And then that kind of turned into, okay, I want to do this as a career. Went to college for it. It was a 2-year program up in Thunder Bay. And from there...
That sounds like a place you would go to stunt school. Just want to say
Yeah.
Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay.
Like, yeah. Oh, no, yeah. We were doing combat roles and defenestration this week.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. One of the videos I filmed in college was like that.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went to school for it, and then after I got home, the one thing... Actually, funny side story. Before I went to college for it, my mom looked at me. She's like, but who's going to give you a paycheck at the end of every week? And I was like, Mom, you see that show you're watching right now? They will. They're all over the place. So she's like, okay. So yeah, I came back and I started working on TV shows. It took me about 3 months to land my first job, and that was it. Off to the races. And then I realized that I wasn't as involved in the creative process as I wanted to be. I was a production assistant, which is basically a gopher. You do whatever they ask. And from there, I was like, I want to do my own thing. So I started filming my own videos with weddings because they pay well, but they do get a little tedious. So anybody who's thinking about getting into video, it's great to make money to buy all the gear you need, but then go and do other stuff if that's what you want to do. But
That's
some
exactly
people
what
love
it is.
weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I reacquainted with a friend of mine, and he's like, do you want to help me make these videos? And I worked with him for literally maybe 8 years, and we had some amazing clients. And those clients were marketers and entrepreneurs. And I learned so much about business and entrepreneurship that I finally realized I could take my passion for filmmaking and actually apply it to a business that I can do with my dad, because I grew up riding mini bikes. I love mini bikes, and so does he. And I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and build this business.
Was that other person Josh?
Lap lap?
Josh, who came down
Yes.
at the second pull
So the gentleman that I was working with, his name was Dan, Dan Usher. Huge shout out. I learned so much from him from a filmmaking standpoint. But Josh was somebody that came into the company, and then he too wanted to go and do his own thing, and so he helps me here and there. Great filmmaker. If anybody wants somebody who's amazing, let me know. I will give you his contact information because he's amazing. I wish I can have him full time, but I just can't at this moment.
So Josh is Bernie 2.0. So let's Bernie cam it. Let's show people Bernie. Now just imagine a 2.0 version of Bernie.
With dreadlocks. He has dreadlocks. That's it.
I've always wanted to get dreads because I got the long hair, but
Just do it.
Do
You're
it.
halfway there.
Yeah,
I
man.
know.
You know?
Okay.
But-
so I'm curious, as far as filmmaking, like what do you watch now? What's on your Netflix plate or whatever?
So that's a really good question. I wish I had more time for shows, but I am working 7 days a week. I actually don't stop. I remember this last Christmas, I got home, it was like 11 or 12, and I was like, I need to keep working. And I stayed up until 3 a.m. finalizing some components that I wanted to make sure were right. So I don't watch too many series. However, I did give Ted Lasso a shot, and that is like one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love
yeah.
that lesson.
I loved it.
Oh, no. The writing and acting in that is amazing.
It makes you feel good too.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
The life lessons, and to be honest, the way that he can run a football team without any experience, I'm like, if he can do it, I know it's a show, but he does it through people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to implement that in my company. Like when I start hiring people, I want to use the same, principles that Ted Lasso teaches in my company. And so, yeah, but realistically, I watch obviously Cars and Cameras. I love seeing what they're up to because they make some really cool stuff. Build, Break, Repeat. There's a gentleman who recently left Grindhouse Plumbing.
Grind
Bum Motorsports. Yeah. So we might be doing a collaboration with one of our bikes,
nice.
which is really cool. But I love watching his stuff. But yeah, it's mostly just mini bike content, and then I'm working.
So up north, isn't Peter McKinnon up there?
I used to watch him all the time, like every day.
But you don't anymore. You still do.
The odd time here or there. I mean, I have his backpack. I have his filters for my cameras. Like I love everything he does. But I find myself now watching more mini bike content. I used to watch more of that filmmaking content. Casey Neistat, I used to watch all the
love
time.
Casey, yeah.
I missed the daily uploads, but once I'm now doing more mini bike stuff, I think for me, here's the thing. I really want to be optimized, and so if I'm going to watch content, I want it to be something that not only is entertaining, but is beneficial to what I'm trying to accomplish.
Well, because you're immersing yourself.
Exactly. And so if I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, I'd rather go down a rabbit hole on seeing people in the same community and what are they doing, what are they building, what problems are they running into, because that might help me solve something in a future project, because I'm already working on the next design. Spoiler.
Nice.
And I'm taking a lot of the feedback from this one as well as things that I'm seeing online. I don't want to spoil too much, but I think people are really going to love this. But yeah, so that's the content I'm watching. It's more educational. If you looked at I don't really have a Spotify playlist. I have one that's random, but I mostly listen to audiobooks or podcasts.
Okay, what
Nice.
kind of audiobooks or what kind of podcasts?
Yeah, of course. The podcasts are mostly...
Minibike and Eazy?
Yes, of course.
I forgot we're on a podcast now. Okay.
For sure, 100%. And then... but no, mostly business. It's all, like, for me, the one thing I learned about myself is that I'm a learner. Like, there's different type of personality profiles, and I feel that I recognize that I'm a learner, which means that I like learning. I feel like I'm most relaxed when I'm learning something new. So everything that I try to do is just learning something new. So all my podcasts are usually business or about business or marketing or how to run a company. Or I was listening to an audiobook on the plane ride here where it was all about the rules of marketing, which most people think there are no rules, but there are rules, and about branding. Because one of the things, I came from a world where it's more sales driven. And I don't want to necessarily like go buy my stuff. I want people to be like, that's really cool. I love what you're doing as a company and a brand. I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Where do I buy? And then I'm like, well, there's a wait list, so you can't buy right now. But yeah, that's kind of
Gotcha.
that's kind of what I'm listening to now. Is just I want to immerse myself in education for as long as I can.
So, Andy Stanley podcast, Dare to Lead podcast, any of these ringing a bell?
Actually, no, I haven't listened to these, so maybe I should add them to the list.
Well, first tell me, like, if you were to pick one out of all those, because I am in that same boat.
Okay.
So give me one good recommendation.
I'll give you two, because there are a couple. If you've never heard of Alex Hormozy, I highly recommend you listen.
Alex Hormozy?
Hormozy.
Hormozy, Hormozi.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then his wife, Layla. So Layla and him, the really short story is they're 33, so they're my age, and their net worth is over $100 million. They built this through a company called Gym Launch. Well, there's a huge story. Listen to the podcast, you'll hear all about it. But he became very successful at filling gyms, so he basically was teaching other gym owners how to do this. They did really well. And then from now, he has a company called acquisition.com where they buy companies because they realized that their superpower was finding talent and then putting them in a business and then exploding that business. So if you have a $3 million a year company, you can go work with them. They'll acquire you for whatever percentage, and then they will basically put their people in place and take it to like 50 to 100 million. And sometimes they do this literally in a year, which is crazy. So he shares everything. He gives all of his knowledge away for free, and he's documenting the journey. And so he is the best when it comes to like learning marketing. But then his wife, Layla, she's the operations. She's the CEO mindset. And so she knows how to build and manage teams. And so for me, I listen to Alex when I want to like understand marketing or branding, but I listen to Layla when I want to understand operations and processes and team and building. And so together they're just like a power couple. And the craziest thing is that they're both like power lifters type of thing. And so they walk into a room and they own it. It's really, those are my highest recommendations, to be honest.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, I'll have to add that to the docket.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Jason's
I
excited.
love learning. I'm such a big nerd for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've been doing more leadership type of learning stuff just because of my position here.
Yep.
And learning, what worked for me getting up to here, which is learning the ins and outs, the marketing, the editing, the social media stuff. Now it's to a point where I need to learn how to manage people more.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to grow that leg. So as much information, I'm trying to soak it in all as possible. I made this whole team do a character trait test or whatever.
It was
A disc test?
Yeah, disc
Yes.
assessment.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's yours?
It's actually, okay.
So
let me
there's
think.
drive, there's support, which is me.
I
There's
was-
I for intellectual, C for
It's
clarity.
For
no.
cool.
No.
Clarity,
C,
right?
C is like you're loyal. I forget the other word for it. It means that you're like, I don't want to use the word servant, but you'll
Influence.
You'll do.
Okay, there you go.
And
Right,
what-
still got
Drive,
it.
influence, support, and clarity.
It is clarity. Oh, okay. So maybe that's a different one.
Support is the one where your heart is in service to others.
Yes, but there's Oh, no, what clarity is, like logical. Like I want to solve
He's
this
an
logically.
I.
So actually, no.
What?
I'm not.
I
So
keep getting these wrong.
okay, there's two states, right? There's your stressed and then your normal. So here's the crazy part. When I was working before, and this has nothing, it's not a negative point of what I was doing. When I was at my normal state, I was a high S and a high C.
Me too.
And then I was a low D and
DI.
DI. When I was in the manager role, my complete stress levels flipped. And so I was acting as a high D and a high C, which was not my normal state.
Huge
And-
D.
Big old, honking big.
It literally went from so those two, it's like a bar graph. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's like a bar graph. And so the two that I was high when I'm in my normal state were almost to the top. Like I was literally high. And then the other ones were really low, but then it literally flipped. And again, it's just, I think I was being influenced by the people who I thought were leaders in this world. I'm like, I got to do what they're doing. But then when I finally talked to somebody about it, they're like, no, if you stay in your lane, you'll actually do better as a leader because you're doing what's natural to you and you won't be as stressed. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then so this test is amazing. It's Tony Robbins, right? I think.
Probably one of them. I'm going to an actual physical class, and that's just
Yeah.
what they pushed, which Tony Robbins isn't a part of it. But,
Okay.
But I'm sure it somehow stems
He just sits in the
together.
back and kind of looks at everyone and takes notes. He's not a part of it, though. Sorry, Tony Robbins is not actually a part of this.
No.
Okay, good
But,
to know.
I
yeah.
don't want to get copyright struck for this.
That's the one. I mean, I've shot stuff with Tony Robbins, which is kind of cool.
Oh, dope, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's part of that world that I've left. But no, it was really eye opening. So I'm glad to hear you made not made, but you
Oh, I made them.
made the team do it.
Yeah.
Another one too. I don't remember the term, but there's understanding. There's 4 colors. I don't know if you've heard of this one, but you're either green, an orange, a blue, or I always forget the last color. Maybe I don't want to say red or something, but like green is so I'm a green and an owl is like the term, and it's basically like you'll sit back and you'll listen, and then you'll like chime in for a moment, and then you'll sit back and let everybody else discuss. You'll probably recognize if there's somebody who's a blue, they're the person who will walk in. How was your weekend? How's your day going? Tell me about it.
Probably me.
Yeah, so if it's nothing bad, it's just understanding yourself.
Yeah.
And then there's the orange, which is like a fox, which is you're a whale, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That
in
hurts,
a
but I get
positive way.
it, yeah.
No, whales are amazing.
Yeah.
And then you have orange, which is fox. They're the ones that go with the flow. They're the ones that will want the night to just go on and on and on and on. And you're like, I want to go to bed. And they're like, no, we're going to 4 other bars.
Oh, so that's Bernie. Okay.
Yeah. You go with the flow and you're natural and you just enjoy it. You're in the moment, it's a great thing. And then I don't know why I'm forgetting the last one, I guess because, I don't know. It's important, but I just didn't remember it. Okay. But anyways, that's all good stuff when you're in the leadership role to understand, and it's good for people on your team to know what they are too.
Oh, the last one is the sloth, and it's the one that like doesn't leave its house ever.
Could be.
No, I have no
Could
idea.
be.
Man. I've got no
The
idea.
introvert.
Yeah.
Which actually, that's a whole funny thing too. I'm an introvert, even though I sometimes have to be an extrovert, which is that's difficult too. I don't know if you guys experience that, but yeah.
No, I present as very extroverted, but like my recharge state is actually like spending time reading.
Yeah.
Like I need time where I can just focus on thinking,
Alone.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Me too.
I get it. Yeah, it's like, but it's like, oh, but I really do legitimately care about people, and I want to talk to them, and I want to
Yeah.
hear from them because, like, that's important to me on a spiritual level.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So this is the time of the podcast where we open it up for Q&A questions and answers.
Okay, so we got a few. Let me see.
We have Sam's mom says.
When will you be home?
Somebody said, let's go GPS, but then also Leonardo says, can I have a free 98cc kit with a motor? That's it. He just wants a free 98.
That's all?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Well, if you come to Saturday's summer shindig from 9 to 1, we do have gift certificates that will be given out to the top 3 best in show.
But one thing we do know, he doesn't have a bike necessarily
Very
because he
true.
wants one. However, there will be 10% off everything in the store if you come to the summer shindig. Obviously, that's a lot more than $0, but
It's a whole lot closer.
it's a lot closer. But we don't have, we don't have giveaway ones really right
Maybe
now.
we need to do another Instagram giveaway thing going on.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Should we do another 98cc giveaway?
Okay, then that's what we'll do. Another 98cc giveaway on Instagram.
Just
Make
sign
sure, stay tuned so you can sign up for that.
Yeah.
Daniel Jarvis, what up? Says what's up.
What's up,
Yeah.
Small Block City?
Yeah.
So this guy, backstory, Daniel Jarvis came in and showed us like a feature-long mini bike movie.
Yes. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, he says what's up to you, too.
We got to jump on a Zoom call because he wanted me to come out to LA this weekend, and it just obviously didn't work. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
here.
I was in LA last weekend. He was there too. We didn't get to meet him. Dede was there too.
I love his work, by the way. Your work's amazing. I want to see the documentary. I haven't
Oh,
seen
it's
it.
so
Oh
good.
my goodness, it's probably
good.
one of the
You'll
best
enjoy
things
it.
I've ever seen. And
It's like really good.
Yeah.
but then again, I am the main clientele. It is about mini bikes and
Yeah.
fast and just like community and all that. Like it's everything that I care about.
Yeah.
So it tugged at my heartstrings.
No, but
You
it's
love it.
got. I think it has appeal outside of the mini bike community. Absolutely.
Oh.
I mean, it's human stories. It's about people making sense of life.
Yeah.
Through this sport.
The trailer was amazing too.
Yeah.
People go subscribe to Small Block City.
Yeah, he
You
says,
wanna
when
see
is the
that.
MBK1 going to make an appearance at an LA rideout?
Well, one of our customers is from LA. I don't want to obviously expose them yet. It might be a surprise. I don't know, but it's,
We'll let them expose themselves.
Yeah, that came out perfect. But there is somebody who will be getting their bike. We hit a little bit of a snag with production. We were trying to perfect, and sometimes perfection is the enemy of done. I know that, but we wanted the chain tensioner to be just right. And so we were working on the chain tensioner, and we finally got it right. So we will be shipping out the bikes, I was hoping this month, but hopefully the first week of August. And so one of them will be going to LA, and it depends how quickly they can put it together. I
Okay.
think they might have also got the Go Power Sports full roller kit.
Nice.
So all they need is an engine once they get their frame, and then they can go ahead and be ready for the next ride out.
Nice.
Oh.
Too
What?
Tall says what's up from Minibike Misfits.
Oh, what's
What's
up?
up, Too Tall? Is that
He's-
Timothy?
Yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
the best pitman this side of the Mason Dixon,
Very
or
true.
either side of the
Yeah.
Mason Dixon.
Um,
Is that Mason's last name?
Dixon.
Da, da, da. Okay.
Minibike Abe says he put, we were talking, a lot of what your disc is and everything, and he put ZZZ. So I guess he didn't like that part. And then he said he's
Sorry.
waiting for his zodiac sign. So we don't-
Okay, so Sam, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a
don't-
Taurus.
Actually, I don't know. Wait, is that the month you were born?
I have no idea, man.
yeah.
If so, I'm a Cancer.
Okay, which Sex in the City girl are you?
You know, it's sad. I know one of their names, so I don't. I'm Miranda.
I'm about to say that's
That's
it.
such a Miranda move.
That's the only one I know.
TKTV says, hope you guys are all good. I appreciate all the love on Instagram. I stunt ride with the mini bikes.
Oh, dude, I love seeing that dude just wheelie everywhere in the world. I really do. I get jealous. I'm like, I wish I could do that.
All right, and then Murph wants an East Coast Go Power Sports shop in upstate New York. And you know what it took, or that you learned what it took.
Yeah.
too. So what would it take to open up a shop?
I mean, I still don't know all the details, but based on what you guys were telling me, there's a lot of inventory that you need to be able to warehouse. And my garage and basement is not big enough.
No.
And also, even when you say upstate New York, you're covering a space that's the size of like 3 other states put together.
Yeah.
So
Well, what if there was a Go Power Sports North in Toronto? It's not too
Yeah.
far from New York.
you're right. Yeah.
So maybe that could work, but
We
yeah,
would love you to be the Go Power Sports of Canada.
I would love to do it.
Have you seen our warehouse?
I have. You showed me it
Oh,
last
yes.
time.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
It
and
was.
Josh came out,
It
yes.
completely opened up my eyes even more to what is needed to do it.
Now we got 2 of them. So
You have another warehouse,
Two.
or is it the same building where you guys add it? Like,
We have another warehouse you have not seen.
oh my gosh,
I know.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
It's a
I
lot
mean,
of space.
congratulations though, that's amazing. Like
Thank
honestly,
you.
like
Oh,
as a
thank you, thank
business
you.
to a bit,
They
like
actually, Jason built it himself.
I did not.
and then Zane built a studio there.
I absolutely didn't. Actually, Bernie helped me set it up. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, but yeah, no, it's obviously a lot of work, and you told me they had 50 people working in that one warehouse. So, right now it's just me, my dad, and I working on our bike. So we're a couple of years out, but I'm hoping we can
Nice.
do that down the road.
Okay.
that'd be really cool. Have people spend their, I don't know, was it loonies and toonies or whatever it
Yep.
is? I've been to Toronto twice. I do not remember much about
Yeah,
it.
loonies, toonies, they're great.
Okay,
Yep.
cool, man. I didn't know if they still had them. That's
Yep.
a thing.
No, we
Okay.
did. We just don't have our pennies now. They got rid of
Oh,
them.
they got rid of pennies.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've been once. I went to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh, amazing. Yep.
So Sam loves hockey.
Yep, still play.
Sorry about your Edmonton Oilers. They almost came with the full comeback. They were down 3-0. Then they came back 3-3, one more game, and they lost.
Yeah, that was upsetting. But I'm a Toronto fan, so.
So you hate
No, I'm just used to disappointment.
Oh, okay.
It's not a matter of like I'm just used to it, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Montoya Dortch gives us a side eye. He'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, we have another podcast tomorrow.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna get to talk to Minibikes R Us founder Montoya Dortch.
Oh, yeah. So
Amazing.
tomorrow at 2 p.m., everyone log back into their accounts and check out Montoya.
Yeah.
We're going to ask him some hard-hitting questions like, Kendrick or Drake, which team are you on? Are you familiar with those two names?
Of course I am.
Wait, so you're okay? So
Oh,
you're
yeah,
now,
you
that's
do
right.
be from Canada.
You're from Canada. So
Yeah.
do you back the Canadian man or are we down with Compton?
Am I allowed to say no comment?
Yeah. I mean, no, that's
Probably a
perfectly
safe
acceptable.
bet.
That's like a nice way of saying Drake, though.
That's such a Miranda thing to say.
Kendrick, come on out.
Yeah, well, he's right here actually.
Yeah. Well,
Speaking of though, his house just flooded. We had a huge flood in Toronto, and his $27 million mansion just flooded.
and all those children in his basement.
Yeah.
So sad. Sorry.
Minor.
You can't do that.
No, the real answer is I don't know the full story, so I can't really have an opinion on it. If I
No,
don't,
that's
if I
good,
don't
man.
know.
No,
Yeah.
that's actually
That's a safe
an
bet.
educated opinion on this. Is like, yeah,
Yeah.
man.
No,
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. To be honest, going back to what we were talking about, and I know it might be snooze fest, but I really don't listen to music. I don't have really many distractions, so I don't follow that stuff unless they're riding mini bikes in their music videos. I really don't care.
So now, actual question: what do you do since you are throwing yourself, mind, body, and soul into this whole endeavor? What do you do to not just implode on yourself?
I play hockey. I play 2 times a week. I'm a goalie, so people shoot pucks at me. That's my meditation.
Oh, you need pain. That's what you're looking for.
Not really pain. The reason I say meditation is when somebody's shooting a puck at you, you can't think about anything else.
Yeah,
And so for me, it's the only time I don't think about it.
that's great.
So that's my time to like just decompress. And anytime I'm still thinking about it on the ice is when I play my worst.
Yeah.
So I try my best to just focus on stopping the puck. But that's pretty much it. I eat, sleep, drink. Sometimes I don't leave the house for a couple days, and I'm like, I should probably go outside.
I need sunlight.
I need sunlight. I'm pretty pale. You might be able to tell. And so yeah, like I'm just eat, drink, sleep,
Nice.
Minibike, Mantini Motors every single day.
Dope.
Yeah.
We're also
mean,
going to
not,
test
but
how
yeah.
good of a goalie you are after this. So
I'm down. I'm down. I'll do it.
Actually, I would love to get you and Jason out on the ice.
I'm also a goaltender, so we would just be staring at each other.
Exactly. It's going to be really good content, guys. Actually, we'll get you guys out on the ice, and then we're going to hit hockey pucks at you. It's
So
going to take
probably
a
not
long
gonna hit
time.
at all.
I would
You don't need to
stop
worry
them
about
all
it at all.
day.
We probably don't need to be out there.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
not.
honestly, you guys can go have a coffee. We'll just get some practice time.
Yeah.
Hit us with another one,
All
Brian.
right, so let's see. Can you guys? Oh, saw that one. Oh, do we sell 22 by 11 8 tires?
Yeah, knobbies.
Yeah, knobbies.
They're the Ching Shins. I put them on the Trailmaster Hurricane. They're my favorite because they give you the most ground clearance, especially at the GPS 180. Oh, GPS 180 track days. September 14th, October 12th, come on down to the GPS Ranch, and you can test out the new GPS 180 track that we have made.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so a lot has been added. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But the 20 by 7/8s are great for going down Pucker Up Buttercup because you just get a little more ground clearance.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
That was an easy question. What else we got?
Dang, yeah,
Sean
you just dumped that
Schoolcraft
one,
says,
man.
"What's up?"
Oh, what up, Sean?
Hey.
You know, he's always the first one to reply to all of our videos with hearts.
I know. It's kind of nice.
I appreciate it.
It's nice. Yeah.
OMB is watching. What's up, OMB?
What's up, OMB?
Oh, hello.
How's it going up in the Pennsylvania area?
Hey.
Hopefully all is well.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got some K-Dot fans.
Ooh, those are my people, though. I'm sorry.
What do you use? Wait, let me read this first. Do you use to seal a hole? What do you use to seal a hole in aluminum block if it's not too big, but the frame of my dirt bike made it?
I don't know.
You don't know.
JB Weld.
Putty.
People are answering them in the comments.
Is it a
JB Weld came
structural
up.
hole, or is it? Because
Like-
if it's structural, you might want to get it aluminum welded.
Yeah, like that's probably I don't know. Send a pic.
Go Power Sports in the Bay Area is needed.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
go.
Which bay?
The Bay. It's yeah.
Thunder Bay.
I think
Thunder
the,
Bay.
There you go.
I think the closest.
That was good, man.
So how far is the Bay from Volts or GTS
They're like
Hobbies?
8 hours.
Well, it depends. No, because then
They're talking about
sometimes
San Francisco.
Yeah,
That's
they're talking
what I
about San
think.
Francisco Bay Area, but no,
Yeah.
because then some people call like the Long
Oh,
Beach
that's
area.
true.
They're like, oh, it's in the Bay Area. It's like, no, you're talking about Oakland and San Fran and
Yeah.
stuff. So 8 hours. Yeah.
Oh, but that would be their closest bike shop, I guess.
Yeah.
That we know
If
of.
it was up there,
Yeah.
Seems closer than Texas from Toronto, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like yeah. So, but I
Oh,
don't know
man. These comments are funny. There are people arguing.
about what. What are they arguing about? I want to hear. I wanna
Because
hear.
somebody said something funny, and then now people are just stop being a hater. It's just funny.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Cool. Well, if you're watching this, go check out the comments on the
Yeah, on Instagram.
On
It's always
Instagram.
Instagram.
Instagram's
Chasin
great.
Blue says he just bought a trumpet pipe right now.
Ooh,
Nice.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you. Appreciate you.
Congrats, man.
I know there was another one. Someone's watching from Moldova.
Moldova.
I don't know.
Pull me up. We need a Jamie to look up where that's at.
Oh,
I feel like I know.
Somebody
what that
said
is.
TIG all day.
Yep.
Okay.
And man, these Instagram.
okay. Let me check.
Are you browsing through my phone? Is that how you're seeing these
Yeah.
comments? Oh, okay.
Don't swipe left.
Oh, like the things I've seen.
Why? Why haven't this is the only GPS location? I mean, you guys have been around a while. Like, I'm surprised there isn't another. I know there's logistics and finding the right partners and stuff, but
Well, also for the longest time, it was just out of Rockwood too, right?
Yeah,
like
out of that go-kart track where
Yeah.
Pool Start was. We have kicked around relocating to Colorado because this heat stinks.
I agree.
But yeah, we haven't done it. I don't know why.
But I mean, just a second location.
I don't know. Because we ship everywhere, so it just seems so much easier just to ship to them rather than open up a whole new building.
That's true. I mean, for the longest time, the last couple of years specifically, online shopping was just everything.
Yes.
Nobody went to stores anymore.
Exactly.
But I do believe there's something about touching, feeling, sitting on,
I agree.
a bike, or it's just. I bought my car. It was a pre-sale, and I didn't see it until I got it. But I love the car. It worked out. But if it didn't, that would have really been unfortunate. But I think for the most part with mini bikes, people kind of know what they're getting. So
no,
it's-
but I agree with you. There is something about coming in, and also there's something about having a place where you go in and you can be a regular. Like you're like, oh yeah, how'd your project come out? And it's like, because you go down and like Flacco, Jamie, Jesus, Aldo, all these dudes know the people who come in and they ask them about their projects.
Yeah.
They have a relationship with them, and so that is one of the nice things about having an actual sales team.
Yeah.
And having a physical location people can come into. And I do hope that in the next couple of years there is a little bit of a stepping away from the idea that Amazon stuff, I mean, especially because there's a good chance Amazon's going to start upping their prices for Prime and is going to start removing free shipping and free returns, which has been one of the things, because people abuse the system. Like, I know, especially in production,
Yeah.
I've known a lot of people who
Oh,
are
yeah.
just like, I'm going to order the entirety of what we need for this set and then send it back the week later or whatever. And it's like,
and they throw it all out. They don't resell it. I don't know if you knew that.
no, they put it on pallets and then they...
Yeah,
they
or some they throw it, but some like clothing, certain things they have to throw out. But
Yeah, no,
there's
I
a
mean,
lot of
they're-
waste. A lot of waste.
No, it creates a way, and it is like it drives down the prices, and it also makes it so that we start treating human beings like machines and
Yeah.
not like
or replacing them with machines.
Yeah, well, no, we're treating them like machines. Like
Yeah.
you can't even take a pee break.
Yeah, no, it's
You know,
ridiculous.
like,
And there's no air
so-
conditioning it's funny. That's what I just listened to a podcast, and one of the things is like, if you want to build a company, you can either compete on price, which is Amazon is doing, but you have to do volume, which is clearly what they're doing,
Yeah.
or you can produce less and serve less people, but provide better service, right?
Yeah.
And if they're going to raise their price and remove free shipping and return, I can't see people wanting to
Yeah.
keep that. But but there's you can't go into an Amazon store. I mean,
Yeah.
they tried a couple things, but
Oh no, those like 4-star and up stores or whatever.
but
Yeah,
if you guys were in Toronto, or when we finally open it up, like I would be there every day. Like I would literally be there every day.
Looking at the heat map, it looked like we would be in that Southern California area.
Okay,
Then it would be like Phoenix, Arizona area.
like it's hot, but
Then somewhere in Florida, towards the Panhandle, towards the north of Florida. And yeah, I think that's where we're the biggest. There's some in New York too.
Oh, like upstates.
I wonder where they're. Oh yeah, I guess I was gonna say where are they riding in New York? But when I was in New York recently, I did see a few mini bikes, but they're electric. I do
Yeah.
feel like electric you get away with a lot more.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm curious, actually, what are your thoughts on electric versus engines? Like, I know a lot of people hate electric just because they're electric, but then some people hate them just because they like being able to tweak and upgrade their engines. But what are your thoughts on it?
True. Well, I've been pushing it. I've been pushing it here just because I see it being a thing that is going to be accessible to a lot of people, and especially in a city environment like you're talking about, having the really loud ICE engine or the ICE, whatever, I know, because that's like ATM machine. But having an internal combustion engine, it just makes so much noise. Like, and it's like, it's cool if you have space between you and your neighbors. But if you're in Brooklyn or Manhattan or in anywhere that has people who are living close to each other, really your best bet is having something that, I bring it in at night, I plug it in upstairs in my house, and then I can bring it downstairs the next day just like a bicycle, except I'm not tired and sweaty when I show up at my meeting the next day.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
It is the future. We have a meeting coming up with another electrical bike company. So hopefully it goes well. We love the electric bikes we have put our hands on. We have components in our wheelhouse that we are messing with. So it is the future coming up.
I might have to talk to you about that.
Exactly.
But it's just pricey right now. That's the main
It's just
problem.
pricey.
The batteries and the components are just
like batteries
expensive.
alone could be like $1,500, and you're like, I can get a whole mini bike for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. And also, how long do they last? And there's a couple people reached out to me asking, can we put a kit on our bike? And I was like, well, you can do whatever you want with it. But then they actually like, do you want me to develop it for you? Because this is what I do. It's really cool, but again, it's pricey. I think the batteries were $1,200, and then the controller and everything was another $800. So it's like you're $2,500 in just for the electrical components.
Yeah.
And you still need a frame and everything else. So.
But that's not so bad, because what we've read is that people who want electric usually have higher income. So when you say $1,200, they're like, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Well, and also if you look at it as something where you are not going to be replacing the engine on a regular basis.
That's true. And you're not going to blow it or anything. I mean, I think as long as it's built correctly, I think you can run. I mean, I have an electric car. Like, the car that I pre-ordered was a Tesla Model 3, ordered in 2016, got in 2018. I waited 2 years for that to arrive.
Nice.
And I love it. I drove it here, literally. Like, it's great. But yeah, I know there's a lot of hate on them just because one person's like, I'm unfollowing you now that I know you have an electric car. I'm like, okay.
Well,
like it doesn't change what we're trying to do
also,
here.
because I will say in America, there's been a politicization of anything that has to do with electric stuff, because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, well, if you use electric stuff, you're woke or whatever. And it's like, no, I mean, like, it's part of the mix. That's the whole point of it, is that, like, no one's saying you have to trade out your engine. It's just like, this is just another thing you can do, and it works in some instances.
Exactly.
If you're doing off-road racing, you probably don't want one. There's a lot of room for error there.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
also, it's going to be heavy,
Thomas
too.
from New York says, in New York, electric bikes are becoming more popular, and I've seen this other places too, at campgrounds, just because they're so quiet.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
You enjoy nature.
My sister has a trailer about an hour and a bit away from where we live, and there's no no motorized vehicles except for your car when you're driving to your trailer. This is like a gated type of trailer community. It's not just like a trailer park. And so when I went there for the first time, I'm like, we need to bring mini bikes here, because there's so many people with these really expensive golf carts, but like there's a lot of kids. They would probably love a mini bike, but it has to be electric. So it got the ball kind of rolling a little bit, but we're far away from being able to do something with that.
No, and I think that as prices come down, and I know also I've been seeing some people are using different stuff. They're moving away from lithium ion, and they're going into some of those other ones that are a little less volatile also.
Yeah.
I was watching a dude who was making a backpack rig where he was using, I'm trying to remember which one it was, but he was basically, like, you could puncture the batteries and it wouldn't blow up or anything. You would just lose you'd lose amperage.
Yeah,
that was it.
Well, that'd be important on a mini bike, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you crash.
No, that's what I'm thinking. Is like, it's cool and all. There's a guy who, the shout out to Blake, who comes out to Yellow Belly sometimes. I mean, he runs electric, but
he has two of them. Yeah. They're quick. Holy crap!
No, they are
quick.
fast, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, though, is like, since he's the only one who shows up a lot of times, so it is like either no one wants to race him, or when he does get someone to race him, it's always like he has to race against some kind of sports car or something.
Yeah, because he can't. I mean, it's hard to compete. And this is a question too that I'm so curious. Anybody in the comments, let me know. But like, why do you hate on it when it could go just as fast, if not faster? Like, if at the end of the day, the goal is to go fast when it comes to a drag racing, situation. Wouldn't you want the fastest possible vehicle? Anyways, I'm not pro or against. Like, I just think that it's, like you said, it is the future. I think it's going to be more common, especially as a mode of transport. One of the questions I get asked a lot is like, will our MBK1 be street legal? Yeah, you could technically register it. We have a serial number on it because we sell it as a frame kit. Anybody can register it. They just have to get it. They have to have whatever their state or province requires. So we don't have our bolt-on street legal kit yet. We're working on it. But ultimately, the goal is to have something where you'll have a headlight and brake lights and signals and a horn and a speedometer and all that stuff, and it'll be a kit that you could just bolt on. But you can register and get all that stuff if you want, from whoever sells it. But I think with electric, especially in those bigger cities, I think it is a future for commuting because they're small. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, how do you prevent somebody from stealing it?
Well, I mean, that's where you get. I did like the. What were those ones that we had for a little bit?
E-dragsters? The yellow one?
No, the one
The
he used to drive
Volcon?
The one I crashed.
The Volcon?
Yeah, the Volcon. Those were nice. Like, and I think but one of the things is like you actually had to like unlock it before it would start up for you.
Yeah.
But I do think like people are gonna find ways around it.
Of course.
But it's also, how do you stop people from stealing a motorcycle? How do you stop people from stealing? It's like
Yeah.
if someone wants to steal something, they're gonna probably take it. I think that the more of them there are, the less likely people are to steal them, which is, I realize, counterintuitive.
People steal phones all the time, though.
Yeah, people steal phones all the time, but yeah,
they're easier than a bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard to prevent that, but either way, I mean, if it's electric, you might just be able to bring it to wherever you're going. So
yeah.
But yeah.
So on that note, I wanted to tell you thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks for coming all the way from Canada just to do the podcast.
Yep, I'm going home right now. Right after.
Good luck on building the rest of your green bike. Hopefully your customer is super stoked and happy with it. And I want to tell everyone, thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe. If you have comments, still leave comments down below. We are still reading those comments even days, weeks after. So leave your comments.
Throw some hearts.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Charles and Day Day.
Yeah, what up, Charles and Day Day?
Hey.
So we love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, so like, subscribe, and be sure to be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central for Montoya Dorch. You guys be sure